Ok. Ok. We are live. Sharing screen without sharing screen, it's okay. Good morning. It's Friday the 28th of June 2024. Aspettiamo che ci colleghiamo. Aspettiamo. Let's wait. Let's wait. Vogliamo andare a vedere un attimo. Allora, corsi, eccolo qua. And good morning. Siamo qui per un nuovo episodio del podcast Inglese Vero, dove parlerò in inglese e racconterò qualche storia in English, only in English. Nel frattempo che aspettiamo qualche secondo che si collegano altri amici, vediamo un attimo. Stop screen share. Riproviamo, Finestra, schermo intero, eccolo qua. Ok. Vi ricordo che c'è eccolo qua il webinar per i genitori di ragazzi medie e superiori che vogliono recuperare l'inglese quest'estate. In 2 mesi riusciamo a recuperarlo. In 2 mesi riusciamo a recuperarlo perché, good morning Silvia, in 2 mesi riusciamo a recuperarlo perché con un lavoro intensivo con i ragazzi in 2 mesi si riesce a fare un lavoro definitivo che poi magari viene confermato e mantenuto tutto l'anno. In 2 mesi con i ragazzi si riesce a lavorare anche così. Quindi invitate a webinar gratuito, ma soprattutto venite anche voi perché sarà interessante anche scoprire qualche tecnica, qualche rinfrescamento sul come si può recuperare un periodo difficile in inglese con qualche strumento pratico e insomma anche come utilizzare i libri, strumenti utili sicuramente per tutti. Ok, siamo pronti? You are ready? Fatemi un attimo controllare. Ok, funziona tutto, funziona anche su YouTube. Yes, ok. Very good. Quindi questa mattina episodio di podcast dove parleremo in inglese di qualche aneddoto, qualche storia di inglese vero. Se prende appunti, gli appunti li troverete nella community gratuita per i partecipanti della community gratuita. Ok. 3, 2, 1. Good morning and welcome to this Inglese Vero podcast recording. My name is Stefano. Today it's a beautiful day. It's a sunny day. And I'm here with you speaking and talking about anecdotes in English. Today I want to talk to you about books, English textbooks especially, the English textbooks that we usually use at school, the teachers usually use at school. This is one, for example, for the first prima media. And are the books good? Are the books bad? Should you use a book? Should you not use a book? Well, my suggestion is it depends. So, in my experience, I found these books when I was at school terrible. I felt like really bad about the books. I didn't understand anything. The teacher was going too fast. So I have a memory of these books which is very negative. So in the first, let's say, 10 years of my teachings, I never used books. I was a pioneer with my friend Danny. Hello, Danny, which was his birthday yesterday. With my friend Danny, we started to teach English without using the books. So it's like our motto was, we don't use books, we don't use books, we don't use books. Then, one day, I realized that I was throwing out the baby with the bath. To throw out the baby with the bath is an idiomatic expression. To throw out the baby with the bath. I was throwing out the baby with the bath, and it's bad. It's bad because the baby is important. So I wanted to keep the baby. What do you mean when we say to throw out the baby with the bath? We mean that when we finish to wash the baby in the bath, if we want to clean the bath and get rid of the water, we should keep the baby with us. We don't throw the baby with the bath. Of course, it's absurd, but it gives you the idea of the big mistake. You don't want to throw the baby with the bath. It's just stupid. You don't do it. You would never do it. You don't even risk to make this mistake. Okay, it's not even an option. In this case, I was throwing out the baby with the bath because these books, these textbooks, if you're watching, you can see, but if you're not watching, it's not a problem. It's the textbooks we use at school are in fact a treasure. They're really precious. They're really well done. Usually, the majority of the books that schools use are really good books. Actually, they're sometimes even too good. It's like, wow, it's like a lot of material. There is a student book, which is usually in color. Then there is a workbook, which is usually black and white for extra practice. But then there is vocabulary, then there is culture, there are games, grammar exercises, songs, picture dictionary, you name it. Functions is like spoken English, important culture things, culture readings, really interesting. It's like, oh my god, I want to do it. So, like, for example, this article on British houses with the 10 Downing Street and the Shakespeare's house. It is interesting. I mean, I find it interesting, and I speak English. I don't need to learn English from a book of prima media, but still, when I read these articles, I think, oh wow, this is very interesting. It's like if I'm a marathon runner, if I'm an expert marathon runner, this book would be the stretching. And even if I run marathons, even if I'm a champion of the marathon, I still enjoy the stretching because it's beautiful. It's like a moment of relax. If you're a beginner, if you're starting to study English now, or if you are just trying to become good at it, stretching is important. So why don't you get one of these books? Just get one of these books. I will put the link of the first book in the comments. In the comments, and of course during our courses we speak about how to use the books. We will probably have some lessons about how to use the books, because in these books I'm going through one unit just to show you what it is like, and it's amazing. Then maybe one day I will share the book with you, but now I want to talk just about it. So usually at the beginning of the book there is a dialogue, like a real dialogue, where you can hear, you can listen, you can read, you can watch. So imagine it's an interactive book where you can listen, you can watch a video, you can listen to an audio, you can read the dialogue. It's really interesting, and it's real English. It's not. It's 90% real English. Yeah, 90%. Let's say. They still write, "How are you? I'm fine, thanks." But apart from that, it's perfect. Okay. Then there is some vocabulary. Like the vocabulary in the book, it's really interesting because it's progressive vocabulary. So it's like the vocabulary you need to progressively improve your English, which is pretty nice because you have a strategy. You have a strategy. You know where to go. You know that this goes first, this goes second. You know that this is more important. This is more important now, and so on. And you don't want to risk missing some bits. Because for example, like Unit 5 is daily routines. You don't want to avoid daily routines. Like now you're speaking English very well, maybe you're listening to videos and podcasts in English, but the daily routines are still not good. It's not good. You need to prove, you need to study, you need to improve, and you need to practice daily routines more. So you go to Unit 5 and you say, oh my God, I'm not good at daily routines. You just go and study the daily routines. Daily routines are important, guys. And yes, during the conversation labs, we use daily routines, we speak about daily routines, but if you never studied them really well, like at least once, you will never learn them. Then there is a part with the grammar, which is okay. It's not complete. That's why I usually tell my students to buy another book for grammar, but this is just like a little extra practice. It's not complete, it's not whole. I mean, if you study grammar here, sometimes you understand it, sometimes it's more complicated than what it is in reality. That's why we are doing English lessons, live English lessons, to explain grammar easily in a more visual way where everybody can understand. Like, even if you don't understand grammar, you will understand grammar with us. But still, there is some grammar here, some extra exercises, and this is important. The extra exercises are important because, yes, you study grammar with me, we practice grammar together, you have the grammar book, but you need extra practice. And the practice in these books, the practice in the textbooks for schools, it's really, really cool because it's progressive. It's like the first exercise is very simple, like super simple, and then a little bit more difficult, then a little bit more difficult, then a little bit more difficult, and the last exercise would be translation, and the translation would be difficult. That's why we also have a translation class where we learn how to translate anything from English, from Italian into English. That's cool, I think. Yeah, that is really, really cool. What else? Oh, the culture, the functions and the culture club, or the functions and the culture club is like the best of the best. The culture and the function club, it's my favorite. Sorry. So what is functions? What is culture club? The functions is like, as the word say, functions is like how you really use the language. How you really use the language. Functions is like, okay, present simple, blah blah blah. You understand, huh? Present simple, blah blah blah. We speak about daily routines, blah blah blah. Yeah, the function is like, oh, what did you do yesterday? Oh, yesterday I went shopping, or I went to the grocery store. That's the functions. The function is the real use of the language in real situation. Okay, yes, that's what the functions is. And this is a beautiful part. Okay, this is I show you. Okay, I put in the comments. I just posted in the comments the first book of this saga, and I truly recommend that you buy the first book. You see how it is, you enjoy it, and then we move on to the second. Whatever level you are, buy the book, because you will find something interesting anyway. Definitely, everybody finds something interesting, and then it will be easy for some people, more difficult for others, but it will be amazing for everybody. Yeah, that's the point. So, what is my experience with this? What is my experience with these books? Well, it's just, after the functions, the most beautiful part is the culture. I showed you before, like this part where it speaks about Eton College, and it's a very interesting article about Eton College, where Prince Harry studied. It's like something you want to know. It's like something that every British person knows about, and it's part of your inglese.vero, because if you speak inglese.vero, you must know a little bit of the culture. And this is really interesting. It's like when I did this the first times with my students, it was like, oh, I thought this was boring. It's like, okay, I'm doing this for the students. Actually, when I started reading it, I got interested. I thought, wow, this is interesting. And the students listening to me got interested as well. So the book was interesting. The book was interesting, and I was interested in the book. This is just an excuse to show you interesting and interested. You see the difference? So the book was interesting. Actually, the book is interesting, because it's still interesting. And I was interested in the book. I wasn't interesting. The book was interesting. I was interested in the book. That's just a little grammar point, which we can do. And then there is a lot of listening activities, like specific listening activities, which are really like propedeutic listening activities, which you need to start listening, to start understanding the basics of the English. Listening activities are really important, because if you never do listening activity for the basics, you're gonna miss the basics. So here you have listening for school subjects, listening for activities like sports, listening for daily routines, listening for basic grammar, listening for houses, the living room, the kitchen, the dining room, listening for basic grammar like prepositions on, in, near, next to, opposite, listening for basic vocabulary. Guys, it's like, if this was my book, I would force you to buy it. And it's not my book, it's Oxford University Press. It's one of the best books I've ever used, and I strongly recommend you buy it. And those of you who are in my groups, I think for July and August, we will start using this book during the lessons. So get a copy. It would be €30 probably. What is it? I'll tell you how much that is. Will be €30 about. And well, thank you very much for listening. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. See you Friday morning. Today's Friday morning. See you Monday morning, 7 o'clock. Bye bye.